Hello and welcome to the Vine Life Podcast. I'm Tony Clark, your host, and today I've got the privilege of having Lindsey Ward Callahan on the program. And Lindsey Ward Callahan is the new development director at the Blue Ridge Women's Center. And once again, the Blue Ridge Women's Center is a medical clinic specializing in providing services to those facing unplanned pregnancy. They also offer all of their services free of charge. They include medical, referrals, classes, and also spiritual counseling if desired. So, Lindsey, thank you so much for being on the program.
I am so excited to be here. Thank you for asking me to be a part of this.
Absolutely. So, I'd like to talk about the big walk that's coming up here in a month or so. But can you tell me a little bit before we get to the walk? Can you tell me a little bit more about the Blue Ridge Women's Center and what you guys do there?
Wow. In short, we, our staff, volunteers, supporters, donors, just in general, help save lives every single day, which is so incredible. There's not a day that goes by that something incredible is not happening inside of these walls. So we offer free services, pregnancy tests, ultrasounds, parenting classes, number of other things to people who are facing unplanned pregnancies, women, men, and students. So we really kind of hit on everyone, and we're in a season right now where we actually are growing to include more men's services, and we're about to launch a men's ministry here at the center as well pretty soon.
Yeah, and that's interesting, too, because we tend to think, well, a women's center is specializing certainly for women and unplanned pregnancy. But also, can you expand on that? You're going to offer services to men as well. How do these services help men?
Sure, absolutely. Well, we know statistics show that women will choose life if they feel supported by their partner. And unfortunately, our society is sort of trained men to not have a voice in that. And so oftentimes they're like, well, it's her decision. It's whatever she wants to do. When in fact, a lot of these women and young women who walk through these doors want to hear from their partner. I'm in this with you, and we can parent this child together. So we know that his voice is very strong, and when there isn't a partner involved, we know that those who are around her, their voices are very strong, whether that's her parents or just community. If she feels supported, she is more likely to choose life.
Wow, that's you're covering the full range of the full spectrum there. So that's very encouraging.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, Lindsey, there's a big walk coming up. Mm-hmm. It's called Walk for Life. Can you fill me in? Tell me a little bit about the walk and how is the Blue Ridge Women's Center involved? So
we have been doing this Walk for Life for 15 years now. It's pretty incredible. So this is kind of a monument or a milestone walk for us. So this is the 15th annual. And so we're heading out on the Greenway. We're going to be at Wasena Park on Saturday, May 7th, starting at 8:30. Walk kicks off at 9 o'clock. And we are going to be out there, Walk for Life. People sign up. You can register. It's not too late to do so. You can register up until the day of. And those who register get sponsors. And then that money supports the mission here of the Blue Ridge Women's Center in changing lives. So these are people who are very passionate about this, who take part in this. And we've had people who've been doing it for almost every single year. It started out in humble beginnings. We grew to 300 walkers. That was the largest right before the pandemic. So I guess it was 2019 was the last one. And so we're now in a rebuilding time because, anytime you do a virtual walk, which is what we had to do last year, it's just not as successful, I guess, maybe, just because virtually walking is just not the same as everyone getting together for a common cause and doing the work.
Yeah, and I know that my wife and I were involved in the walk last year, and it's good. It's so good to be able to get out, out of seclusion and outside. Yeah.
I mean, I understand the purpose of a virtual walk, and you want to have some sort of presence. But I mean, people just want to get out, and be around their community and meet new people, and just kind of rally behind a common cause.
Yeah, and are you guys expecting a large turnout for this year?
So we're expecting we're on par to hit at least 100. We're hoping to grow it back up to 300. That's our goal, to get, to expand it, to do even more. But with that support right now, I think we at our moment of speaking, we're at 86 walkers. These are really passionate people who love this cause, love this ministry, and they feel that this is their portion of kingdom work.
And let's talk about that a little bit. I do know one of the foundations of the Blue Ridge Women's Center getting involved is from local houses of worship.
Oh, absolutely.
Can you talk about that a little bit? What's the history with some local churches and things like that?
That is our core base. Absolutely. We have great partnerships with churches across the valley. We serve a number of different areas. It's not just Roanoke County or Salem. It's not just the core, but really across the Roanoke Valley. So it's been really incredible. I'm new here. I've been here for less than a month, but it has been so amazing to see how many churches actually support us. And that's not just from the pulpit and their pastoral staff, but that's also their parishioners. And they volunteer, they donate. They support this cause. They understand that every life is God-breathed and is ordained. So they are sort of the bread and butter of what we do here at the Blue Ridge Women's Center. And I like to say, if money isn't what you can give, we need prayer here. We always need prayer. We have people who are walking through the doors every day facing the biggest decisions of their lives. And so we need people praying for us, for our client advocates, to have the right words, to bring the right people in our doors. So absolutely, there's always something that somebody can give.
Lindsey, tell the audience a story. You guys have impacted people's lives for the better. But can you tell me just maybe one or two stories about a woman's life that has been changed through your doors? Oh,
Tony, let me tell you about this week. Monday was an incredible day here at the center. We are working on our Mother's Day campaign. We're sending out a Mother's Day card. And the face of our Mother's Day card this year is a woman named Calissa, and she was abortion-minded. And I got to hold her sweet baby boy this Monday. It brings tears to my eyes. He was so precious, and he's about the same age as my little one. And it was life-changing. This center was life-changing for her. She was in an unplanned pregnancy. She's a young mother, and she thought her only option was abortion. And she walked in here and found out that there were numerous other options. She decided to carry her child and to parent her child. And being able to hold him on Monday was incredible. It brought tears to my eyes. It gave me chills. I have chill bumps on my arms right now just thinking about it. And for her, she's celebrating her first Mother's Day. And it's amazing to see the work that was done here. And she not only chose life, but, she's been involved in Bible study. And so she's, growing spiritually, and we're trying to minister to her. And, man, if that doesn't make you want to get up in the morning and come to work, I don't know what else would.
Yeah. So positive news, positive stories. Oh. And Lindsey, in a world where we're bombarded with, negative things, wars and chaos and people fighting one another, this is a good cause. This is you're getting positive results. So, amazing. The folks that are watching or listening, if you want to be involved in a great cause, something that's going to make you feel good, that you're making an impact in people's lives.
Oh, 100%.
You can certainly support the Blue Ridge Women's Center. Now, if I'm an individual out there, Lindsey, I'm with a church, and I'm not presently involved with the Blue Ridge Women's Center, how would I do that?
So you can go to our website. I want to be clear about this, because we are working to make this language clear for our supporters. We have two different sort of faces. We have a client-facing social media platform, and then we have a supporter-facing social media platform. So the content is different. Obviously, we are trying to reach those who are abortion-minded. So we have like we have Facebook and Instagram for those people with certain information, content that goes to them. Then we have the supporters and the donors. So make sure that you are, when you're logging onto our website, if you're a supporter or donor, it is supportbrwc.org. I'll say that again, supportbrwc.org. That is our donor-facing website. We have information there on what we do. And then on there, you can go to give, where you could give financially. We have, you'll see on our website that we have fundraisers. You can see that we have a Walk for Life, we have a baby bottle campaign, and we have a banquet this year. So whatever kind of tickles your fancy, whatever you feel works for you, your family, your church. Maybe you want to get your church involved in a baby bottle campaign, and that's how you want to give back, then great. Click that and you can find information there. Maybe you want to host a team and you want to walk, you can do that. Or if you love to get dressed up and want to come to a banquet in the fall at the Hotel Roanoke, and that's your thing, we have that coming up in October. So that's an incredible way to give back as well. And just spread the word. And I will go ahead and just plug in that we have an incredible speaker this year. So it is, she is a former Planned Parenthood employee who is now, her whole life's mission is actually pro-life instead of pro-choice. She made a huge turn in her life, and so she is moving in that direction, and she's going to be our speaker this year.
Wow, that's a good news story. I'd like to hear that.
Abby Johnson is her name.
Awesome. So, Lindsey, if someone is watching this, inevitably someone's going to be watching or listening to this that's not in the Roanoke area, but they say, hey, I want to support, and you've talked about, and we'll provide the links at the bottom of the video about how to support the Blue Ridge Women's Center.
Yes.
But maybe they're finding themselves in a pregnancy they didn't expect, and they're looking for an organization like the Blue Ridge Women's Center, but in their area, they're not sure that they have one like it. How would you advise them? So
there are pregnancy centers all across the country. So if you go to, and I'm going to give you a resource, Heartbeat International, you can see, and just Google that, you'll be able to see pregnancy centers all across America that you'll be able to log on and get their information and maybe find one in your backyard.
Absolutely. And we'll put that link there as well below the video. Lindsey, I'm curious. You're the new development director at the Blue Ridge Women's Center, but you've got quite a history in the news media.
Yeah.
Now, can you tell me a little bit about your story and what road led you to the Blue Ridge Women's Center? Fill me in a little bit.
Well, I'll give you an abbreviated version because it's quite a long road. Where do I start? So I just sort of retired. I use air quotes because I'm almost not quite 40. So I know that's very young. I didn't really retire, but retired from journalism and anchoring at WSLS in Roanoke. And I worked there for 14 years, was in the business for almost 20 years. And it just wears on you the hours. I was working at minimum 45 hours a week. And I had a baby in the fall in September, and I knew I could not go back to that. And so my husband and I had some conversations. We prayed about it. And Ann had reached out to me. She's our CEO and reached out to me and said, I keep thinking about you. Would you be interested in applying for a job here? And so anyways, everything sort of just lined up. I applied and I really felt like the Lord just led me here. So it's incredible because I love that you said, this is great news. I get to tell you amazing news. Lives changed because for years, every evening I sat on the desk at the station and every evening, it was just bad news after bad news. And we really did try to do a good job of finding great news in our community. But at the end of the day, you just can't help what the headlines of the world are. And you have to report that. And it wears on you. So it's really incredible to be able to, I get to be a storyteller now. So I get to find stories of women who are coming in our doors, and I get to email those out to our supporters and donors. And that's just a great way. Make sure you sign up for our email list, and you can do so on our website, support@brwc.org. And I get to tell those stories. That's amazing to be able to, just point people to real people who are impacted by the work and ministry of the Blue Ridge Women's Center.
Yeah, pretty amazing, the work and the ministry of the Blue Ridge Women's Center. So, Lindsey, a great organization. I picked something off of your Facebook page I'd like to read. It's about donations, and it says the Blue Ridge Women's Center is completely donor funded.
Yes.
Generous members of our community want to support and love you by partnering with us to provide all of our services absolutely for free. Mm-hmm. It's important that you know there is never a cost to walk through our doors. We exist to help the well-being of our clients and will never ask for payment in return. You trusting us to serve you is the only thing that we ask. That's a pretty amazing statement.
Yes, it is. It's incredible. And just so if anybody is curious, $50 sponsors a pregnancy test, $250 sponsors an ultrasound, and $500 sponsors a new mom. So we never charge. So we are all donor supported, and just people who genuinely care about the next generation and the sanctity of life.
Amazing. Lindsey, anything else that you want to add that you want to talk about today about the Blue Ridge Women's Center?
It's incredible to be at a place where I know that I've been called here and I'm right in the center of God's will. If you don't take anything else away from this, just seeking His will, holding your hopes and your dreams and your goals very loosely in your hands, asking Him to guide you, direct you, and then you obey and surrender to what He has, because that's a very sunny way of putting it. It was very hard to learn that. I've made so many mistakes over the years and had to learn all of those lessons the hard way. But I know that I'm where He wants me to be right now, and He's growing me in this. And so my prayer for your listeners is that they experience that in their lives. Not everybody can, not everybody can quit the secular world and go run into ministry, and God doesn't even call us all to do that. He wants us to be faithful right where we are. However, just learning to abide in Him and walk in Him, and He will guide you, and just hold it all so loosely so you can be right in the center of His will.
Pretty sound wisdom. And I'm just going to close it with this, Lindsey. And I think this is from your website. It says, we believe this ministry to be good, right, and true. And when you walk with us, we get to partner together to walk in the fruit of that light to change lives. And Lindsey Ward Callahan, the Development Director for the Blue Ridge Women's Center, I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you, Tony. I appreciate it. And make sure that you guys log on to support BRWC.org.
Absolutely. And until next time.